μέλλον των σχέσεων Αθήνας και Άγκυρας θα εξαρτηθεί από το αποτέλεσμα των εκλογών στην Τουρκία, εκτιμά ο γνωστός αναλυτής Μάικλ Ρούμπιν.
Well, it depends on the outcome of the election, of course. This will not only be the 100th anniversary of the declaration of the Republic of Modern Turkey, it's also the 100th anniversary of the Lausanne Treaty. The question is whether Erdogan is going to try to start the new century by turning back in many ways to the old. While Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, whatever his faults, looked forward, Erdogan looks back. While Ataturk looked towards Europe, Erdogan looks towards the Middle East. While Ataturk embraced laicism, Erdogan embraces Islamism. What I also worry about is if Erdogan wins, he's going to have to face the fact that his record is horrible, economically, politically, and so forth. He's going to try to distract the Turks by waving a nationalist flag. Is he going to precipitate a crisis with Greece over the Aegean Islands? This is what we need to tell Erdogan. If you want to revise the Lausanne Treaty, make no mistake, the revisions are going to go against you, not in your favor.
Both countries, Greece and Turkey, have elections in the next coming weeks. The earthquake has brought both countries closer. How people here in Washington foresee the relation between Athens and Ankara after the elections?
Of course, that will depend upon the results of the election, and the Turkish and the Greek people will make a decision as to who governs, and that's for them their sovereign decision to make. I would just simply say that I have found the Greek government to always be willing to live in peace with security with its neighbor Turkey. It has not been the belligerent entity in these issues. It is not the one that overflies Turkish, the one that invades its territorial waters of Turkey. It does not speak in belligerent tones like we'll come in the night. So I think that Greece, I would assume, regardless of who gets elected, but I know the present prime minister has had a positive attitude, has been admired in the United States because they're not belligerent. That is not the reality of Turkey under Erdogan. So we will see who gets elected in Turkey, but it would be my hope that there would be a different change of attitude so that NATO allies can be real NATO allies, live up not only to the security responsibilities, but to the principles and values that NATO calls for, and to live with peace within the region. That can only create greater prosperity and greater wealth.
They're both NATO allies, and so we want them to continue to be part of NATO and allies of the United States. But Turkey has not acted like an ally, right? Turkey has continued to be aggressive against Greece. Turkey continues to support Azerbaijan, which is trying to essentially annihilate Artsakh. Turkey has gotten involved, has in many ways moved closer to Russia. And so, Turkey has not been a good ally. If you're part of NATO, you're supposed to be supportive of your other NATO allies, and that hasn't been the case.
Greece and Turkey, after the earthquake, it seems that they're closer, they have a better relation. What is the mood here for Turkey, and how do you see the prospects of this relation between Athens and Ankara?
Well, I think the people in the United States feel very sad for the people of Turkey who have suffered tremendously. And our hearts go out to the families who lost loved ones. I actually represent a district where I have a large Turkish American population, many people who came here to flee Erdogan, to flee what he's been doing in terms of human rights violations, really cracking down on people's First Amendment rights, putting people who are dissidents or members of the media in jail. These are atrocities that we must speak out against. But certainly the Turkish people, we only wish them the best and hope that they recover from this tragedy, which I know has taken so many lives. In terms of Greece, I think that we view Greece as so compassionate. You saw Greece, despite the horrible rhetoric coming from the government of Turkey, still being there for the people of Turkey. And I thought that was very beautiful and compassionate. I thought Mitsotakis really left a positive impression with people all around the world by doing that.
The administration is pushing for the upgrade of the Turkish F-16s. Congress has given a first unofficial green light. What is the mood here for Turkey?
The mood for Turkey is quite poor here based on Turkey's behavior. It's hard to excuse Turkey's behavior. With regard to the avionics upgrade, it really is the bare minimum, and the Pentagon has said this is necessary for safety for communications. It's not anywhere close to what Turkey wants, and frankly, if Turkey tries to demand more, the answer to them will be no, because there's bipartisan assessment that Turkey does not deserve the F-16s. They're not going to be used for NATO. They're going to be used to threaten Greece, threaten Armenia, bomb the Kurds. It's unacceptable for Turkey to have any more military equipment.
Well, this is not an upgrade of the F-16s. All it is about communications. In doing so, it is a message to Turkey, who has lowered their belligerent attitude, at least at this point in time, at least in their language and actions, to its neighbor, the Hellenic Republic, that if you chart a different course, there are different possibilities. But I continue to be opposed to the sale of the F-16s. Turkey has not done anything sufficient to be rewarded in that way. And I will continue to oppose lethal upgrades that may exist to their present system.
Mitsotakis, when he came to the United States, he gave a beautiful speech in front of Congress. And I thought that visit was extremely important because the members of Congress had to hear what he had to say. And then he made his case about how we need to continue strengthening our security and military relationship. And we have to be concerned about other quote-unquote allies in the NATO that act sometimes as adversaries. And in particular, obviously, the one that we're talking about here is Turkey. I continue to educate my colleagues about the threats that Turkey poses to Greece, the rhetoric that has been said, the actions, the illegal overflights over the Greek islands and in the Aegean.
What is the mood for Turkey at the Congress right now?
Well, we are opposed to the sale of the F-16s to Turkey, and we'll continue to oppose it. I know the administration doesn't agree with us, but we're going to keep up the drumbeat that these F-16s should not be sold and that Congress should not approve it.
Το υψηλό επίπεδο των ελληνοαμερικανικών σχέσεων σημειώνεται στην Ουάσιγκτον από αναλυτές και μέλη του Κογκρέσου που υπογραμμίζουν το σημαντικό ρόλο της Ελλάδας στην περιοχή.
Greece and the United States just share values, right? We are democracies. We love our freedom. We believe in the pillars of our nations, and that's really, I think, what brings us together. But as of late, the security, the military partnership, I mean, that has only become more and more stronger through the decades. And I think that is also an area where Greece has played a tremendous role. As you know, we have a strong military relationship. I just came back from Crete. I was at the naval base in Suda Bay to witness that relationship firsthand. Greece is working very closely with the United States in terms of support for Ukraine.
Increasingly, Greece is seen as a close ally and as a force for stability in the Eastern Mediterranean. This isn't just in reaction to Turkey's bad behavior. It's because of the reforms, political, economic, and otherwise, that Greece has undertaken. It really is becoming a pillar across administrations and across political parties.
Εκδήλωση μνήμης για τα θύματα της γενοκτονίας των Αρμενίων διοργανώθηκε στο Κογκρέσου με πρωτοβουλία του αρμενικού λόμπι στην Ουάσιγκτον. Βουλευτές και γερουσιαστές εξέφρασαν συμπαράσταση στον αγώνα των Αρμενίων.
What is the message out of this today's event here at the Congress for Turkey?
Well, the message is, first of all, observance, remember, never forgetting. Because when we forget our past, we are destined to relive it. And so it's a commemoration of the lives that were lost during the Armenian genocide. It's also a message that, a country needs to face its history in order to progress in the future. It cannot deny it. And so the forces that have been unlocked by Erdogan's government against those who, even inside of Turkey, recognize the Armenian genocide, journalists, authors, and whatnot, that has to end. And so if America had its own issue with race. Slavery was our original sin. Until we faced that, we truly could not be free as we are today. Turkey needs to face its reality during the course of the Ottoman Empire and the Armenian genocide. The sooner it does that, the better it will be.
For Turkey, the message is that they should recognize the Armenian genocide. They continue to act as if it never happened. And we know that when you don't recognize something, there's always the potential it happens again.
It's important that we never forget the first genocide that occurred in the 20th century, the Armenian genocide foisted by the Ottoman Empire. But as we know, it wasn't just Armenians that were murdered. Greeks were murdered as well. And therefore, it's important as we recognize the 108th anniversary of the genocide, the Armenian genocide, that we remember that we must never allow that to happen again. And finally, the United States government officially, with the signature by President Biden, recognized the Armenian genocide by the Ottoman Empire that impacted so many innocent lives that were Armenian, that were Greek, that lived in that part of the world at that time.